What is up, YouTube? Jared Spalding here. Today I'll be giving you what I think is the complete guide to investing in silver and gold. Now, first off the bat, I'm going to say you can really apply this guide to any precious metal. I'll be referring to just silver and gold when I speak though, so that's why I'm figuring that's what I'll call it. Also, a lot of the prices and stuff that I mentioned are only going to be relevant to these two metals and not others. I will have another video on platinum, palladium, and so forth, but this video is just for silver and gold. So, without further ado, let's start off with section 1. That is the basics, and if you're wondering, that was just me cracking my fingers. So basically, here's how you're going to want to start. Now, I'm starting from the very beginning here. Let's say you have absolutely no clue what to do. No metal, no nothing. Now, if you have deeper pockets, then you can get started easier. But let's just say you have $150 you want to spend on metals. Now, this really depends on what you're wanting to buy. Let's say you want to buy silver. If you do, then what you're going to want to probably start with, if you have about $100 to $150, is probably a 5-ounce round. Now, the reason I say not getting smaller 1-ounce rounds is because they're going to be a waste of your money if you can spend more than whatever 1 ounce is going to cost at the time that you are currently trying to invest. 1 ounce of silver right now is about $16.50. Very cheap for silver. Silver is very low. Gold is not quite as low, at about maybe $1,300 an ounce. Gold, they both fluctuate a lot, which is something else I will talk about in a little bit. But basically, you're going to want to get a 5-ouncer. It's going to cost you a little over $100. Now, if you're getting gold, you're going to want to get a 1/10 of an ounce round. I mean, you might need to build up a little bit more money because a 1/10 of an ounce, I believe, is anywhere from maybe 140 to 160 or more. So you're going to need a little bit more money for that. But basically, yeah, that's how you're going to want to start out, with either a 5-ounce silver round or 1/10 ounce gold. Now, let's say you have less money. I'll go with the negatives first. Let's say you only have $50. Then probably you want to get maybe a 50-gram bar, and then you'll have enough money left over, if you can, to get not a 1-ounce round, but I mean, really, you're not going to be able to get that much after that. You might be able to get 2 1-ounce rounds with 50. Yeah, you should be able to get that. I mean, I'm trying to think of a way where you can spend your money the best. 2 1-ouncers, and then if you're lucky, you could get a 1/2 ouncer. Probably not. You're probably going to have to get a 1/4 ounce round of silver. With gold, $50 is going to get you a gram of gold. If you have about 53, then you can get a gram. To be more precise, you need a little bit more than $50. Now, let's go even lower. Let's say 20. That's the bare minimum to really start with metals, I personally believe. Anything below that, and you're going to want more money. And really, that's even, I think, a low amount, but I only started out with a $50 bill when I bought my first silver. So, I mean, it really isn't that bad. Now, if you have a $20 bill, crisp, you want to buy, you're only going to be able to get 1 ounce round. Maybe you can get a couple of 1-gram rounds if you're lucky, but anything below a gram you're going to want to stay away from. I still buy 1-gram rounds just for the novelty factor. I mean, but if you're trying to become a serious buyer, you're not going to just want to get novelty. So maybe even those you want to stay away from. But at the lowest, you're going to want to get grams. So basically, yeah, 1 ounce and a gram, something like that. Maybe 2 grams if you got really lucky. I mean, I don't even know. You might have trouble finding someone who will give you that low of a price for a gram, because all that's very overpriced when you buy such minute quantities. But yeah, basically that's how you're going to want to buy it. $20 with gold. I'm really trying to think here. Grains is the only thing I can think of. Yeah, $20 is too low to start with you're starting out gold, I think. I think with gold, you're gonna wanna start with 50, silver, 20. That's my personal belief, just because anything below a gram of gold, you're losing money on, like completely losing money on, and there's just no point, you know? There's absolutely no point at all of buying anything below a gram of gold whatsoever, or silver, really. Now, let's go the other way. Let's say you've got 500 you're looking to spend on metals. With silver, yeah, you're getting a little bit more than 500, but if you can save up a little bit more, you can get a 1 kilo bar. It's 32.15 ounces. Very good size. Very nice to hold in your hand. Very nice weight to it. With gold, 500 will get you not a half ounce round. I mean, again, if you save up a little bit more, you could get a half ounce, or even that's kind of a far stretch just with the kilo. So with gold, you might want to get a maybe two smaller rounds, maybe a fifth and a fourth. Nah, even that is going to be, I mean, a stretch. But if you can find the guy, more power to you. I'm going to go up just one thing higher here. I'm going to say $1,000. That with silver, get yourself a nice 50-ounce bar and maybe a 20-ounce bar. You can probably get that much. I mean, you might have a little bit of trouble, but if you have to, get maybe a 10-ouncer and a 50-ouncer. But I could see it being feasible to get a 20 and a 50. With gold, $1,000 still not going to buy you an ounce, so get a half and a quarter maybe. Or yeah, I mean, because a half, you're looking at about 600. So a quarter, you're looking at about 350. So 950. Yeah, you could probably get yourself 3/4 of an ounce of gold, or you know, a lot of silver. Like I said, 65, 60, or 70 ounces, somewhere around that range. Depends on your buyer. Now let's go to the next thing. I'm going to talk about mints. Now, people always have their own preferences for mints, but mine is Provident or MCM. I try to avoid APMEX because, as I talked about in my last video, quite a lot of people have negative experiences with them. You know, so I mean, like I said, it's your own preference, but a lot of people really don't have the best experience with them. A lot of people have had bad ones with the APMEX company. And again, I'm sure there's people out there that could say that they had bad experiences with Provident as well, you know. But in any event, you're going to want to try to buy from a major mint, just because they can provide you better prices usually. You know, better trust, I would say, in knowing that you're gonna get what you order. I mean, sometimes small buyers are good because they might throw in an extra. Like I had this one guy I still buy from. I buy smaller novelty pieces from him, grams, and 5 grams and stuff, or 5 grains. I'm sorry, really small bars I bought from him. I bought most recently a 1 gram, but before that, now I want to tell a little bit of a personal story here. He had a shipping problem, and he couldn't get out the piece until a little bit late. But what he ended up doing was throwing in a free piece of silver. I believe he threw in a free certified 5 grain triangle. So I mean, I was happy with that, you know, because I was on top of everything I already ordered, and he did still get it there in pretty good time anyway. So I was very happy with it. But most of the time, when you're buying from smaller people, you're gonna want to be careful and make sure it's certified. Maybe if you know the person, that'd be a little bit good, just because you are less likely to get ripped off by them, you know. But in any event, just make sure that you know what you're getting is real. Now I'm gonna actually start talking about real silver a little bit here versus fake. If you are just starting to invest, maybe you got a bigger bar and you think it might be fake, a couple things you could do. First, uh, you can do, I mean, I hate recommending an acid test, but because it ruins your bars, you know. But I mean, there is a certain acid you can get. The companies actually sell this for testing your silver, and depending on it, it will turn a certain color, whether it is or isn't silver. It won't change color for different metals, but this is a horrible test because it ruins any silver you had. So like, let's say like you have a piece that's worth $10 over spot because it's a bigger piece, then I mean, you're gonna have to lose that money if it isn't fake, you know. So that's why I really hate recommending that. It is still always an option. There's less dangerous tests such as the magnet test, but you can look up any of these tests for yourself if you want more detail on them. I'm no expert because I don't really feel the need to do these because I always follow my own advice and buy, certified bars from big companies, stuff like that. Now, one thing you really want to be wary of is people who will try to overcharge you. If you're new, you might not know, and you might think silver is worth way more than it really is. Silver ain't what people think it is. Most people won't even know what silver is worth. They'll think it's under or over value than compared to what it really is, and people could take advantage of that for new beginners. They may have a whole website just dedicated to helping out beginners and then selling them overpriced bars. Never fall for any of this. People might try to put a BU, or other terms that just try to make the bar seem better than what it really is. A BU bar isn't worth much more than a regular bar. So like, you're not gonna want to fall for that, all those fancy terms. Make sure you're only paying what the silver's worth, you know what I mean? Like, make sure you are only paying silver value, and the way you can do that is by tracking the silver either via a application on your phone, or if you don't have a phone or just don't feel like using it, then you can go on a website on your computer or try to download something from there. Now, this is all more of a beginner advice usually, but I want to try to help out people who are more advanced into silver, I should say. Now, you people out there that are more professionals, more pros, you probably know all this stuff I've already said, but this section's more for you. So let's jump right off here by discussing the different types of buyers that I personally know exist. Now, there's the one that's going to want to buy quality, valuable pieces that are highly marked up, highly over spot, and basically extraordinarily rare, usually, like people who want to buy proof pieces, for example. Those are usually going to have at least like a 250% markup. A $20 one can sell for 50 or more. Like a piece that's normally just a 1 ounce round that's in brilliant uncirculated one proof be worth $50. One example of this is our PR70 US currency, the highest grade that exists for currency, worth a lot more than its face value. Same thing with silver, or it's going to be worth a lot more than spot value if it's in such a high condition. Another thing is limited condition, which is basically like only a certain amount in that condition were made, or certainly only amount in that condition exist. Now, most people haven't heard of this term. A lot more common would just be limited edition as opposed to limited condition. Now, limited edition is just only a small amount were minted. But I've never really heard the term limited condition myself. I just kind of used it. But basically, yeah, it just means that only a small amount exists in that high of a grade, or high of a condition, if you will. Now, there's another type of buyer, and that is the one that just wants to get as much silver as possible. Now, this is the kind of buyer that I would consider myself. because I really just try to get the best deals I can on silver. You know, like when I'm buying. I mean, that's not always true, because I do sometimes buy these smaller novelty bars, as I consider them. So I'm not always, you know, trying to just get the best deal I can, but basically, yeah, that's what the buyer I usually am. The one that's just trying to get the cheapest silver I can. I'm buying generics. Now, I also buy older US currency in really nice condition. So you don't have to be one type of buyer. You can be kind of a mix. But yeah, basically, you usually are having more trades on one side than the other. Now, another thing I'm going to say for the more advanced buyers here is if you've bought silver in the past from unreputable sellers, check it. Don't do any corrosive tests, especially if it's a nicer, higher grade piece. But there's many tests you can do that aren't going to ruin your silver. You know, many that I definitely would recommend, such as the magnet test, where you slide a magnet down your piece. What kind of magnet? I would definitely recommend a rare earth magnet if you're going to be doing this, because they're small and very powerful, so they'll really help to detect whether it is or isn't silver. Now, another thing you can do is the acid test, but you only do that if it's junk silver. But what I was going to say is another test you can try is, I believe, I don't know exactly how blacklight works on silver. I know it works for diamonds. I mean, it might not work. I'm really not sure. But you can always look that up. Tell me in the comment section if it does. I really don't think it does. But I know that there are other tests out there. I just don't know what they are personally. You can check out any test you want on YouTube, or maybe a more official website. Now, I'm kind of switching around here. I'm going to go back to the beginners. Now, another thing you want to avoid as a beginner, or as anyone, is even advanced buyers can make this mistake. So really I'm going to be talking about things that I think would really apply to both. Now first, I'm going to be saying don't buy underpriced bars. Before I said this mainly for the less advanced buyer, don't buy the overpriced bars. But anyone could get fooled into buying an underpriced bar that they think is just a great deal. Now, certain things you can get a good deal. But read the description completely and thoroughly. You know what I mean? Read like basically the full, because you could be buying sterling silver or even lower than that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I am pretty sure that German silver is not real silver at all, but copper, nickel, and I'm gonna say aluminum. Yes, copper, nickel, and tin and aluminum. Maybe not all German silver. There are also fine rounds, but I know there are a lot of fake bars out there. Silver plated is the worst. But yeah, just like you might see those designer handbags that are underpriced, another thing you could see is the underpriced silver. You know, and ones that are really being sold for a lot less than they're worth, just because the buyer can make a quick buck, because they really are worth less than what you think they are. Just, you know, you gotta really be careful when you're buying silver on eBay in general. Don't buy from any websites, and please never buy from these websites that look very fake, you know, unofficial, because the chances are some guy set it up who is gonna scam you. I've heard all too many times where somebody has sold something fake, a bunch of these things, and then when people didn't get their items or they got fake stuff, they just left the business, you know? They try to pretend like nothing was their fault, but they purposely scammed them. Make sure you get insurance on your item, and on eBay, always practice your rights. You might not want to confront the buyer, but you don't have to. You can open a case against them, and you can leave negative feedback if you're a little more ambitious. Or if you don't want to get on their bad side, you can really take steps. You can basically take the extra steps when buying to get your money back. eBay tries to protect against fraud as best as it can, and if the item never ships, you should and will get a full refund, you know? That's why people on eBay can't scam as well. You know, that's why you gotta be really thorough looking through the description, because the only way that they can fake it is if they put the item completely wrong, you know what I mean? Like if they say it's gonna be one thing in the title, but then the description actually say it's a little bit different at the very bottom or something, or worded just right. Like, I'll talk about one really interesting case where somebody paid over $800 for a brand new Xbox One, or at least what they thought was an Xbox One, when in reality the title said photo brand new Xbox One, and they received a photo of a new Xbox One. I don't think the person really got in trouble for it because they said photo new. They didn't say no. So the person thought it was, the photo was of a new one. They didn't think that they were getting a photo of a new one and as the actual item. You know, like, things like that can happen, especially in the silver community. Someone could promise you one thing, but really be giving you something else. And there are scammers out there, so you might not even realize that you're holding a fake piece of silver as we speak. And if that is the case, then you might run into a lot of problems that were originally unforeseen, you know? So just make sure that you're careful with anything on eBay. Don't go on any fishy websites. I do recommend eBay if you're buying smaller quantities, because a lot of times bigger websites like MCM, Provident, anything like that, it's going to have a minimum purchase. They are also going to charge shipping, and on eBay you can get items for free shipping even from these big companies. I've never paid for shipping on a single item before. I only get about maybe a quarter of the results I would, but I never have to pay for the shipping. Basically, it's less math I have to do, less chance of me making a mistake on my math, and to top it all off, it makes you kind of feel better, like you're not paying for that unwanted shipping. So, yes, that is how I would recommend buying silver. That is, I guess you could say, the complete guide. Not quite as long as I expected, only a little over 22 minutes. But there is, of course, more I can talk about. Tell me in the comment section, and I can always update this, but I really think I thoroughly covered everything. With that, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Make sure that you are careful when you invest in precious metals, and peace, love, and as always, much respect.